Stranger Things finale graduation scene has immediately become one of the most beloved scenes of Season 5, and especially for all of us, metalheads, for rather obvious reasons. But at the same time, it was simply full of symbolism and hidden references to 80s metal, which many people, for some weird reason, seem to completely miss. When Stranger Things first introduced Eddie Munson in Season 4, it was immediately obvious whom he was supposed to represent. Long hair, Dio patch, Metallica tape, theatrical rants about conformity and satanic panic. I mean, by all means, Eddie was a love letter to all of us, metalheads.
We are blood brothers!
But in addition to that, there was actually something a little less obvious. I mean, it was actually pretty obvious to all of the metalheads around the world, but in case if you guys are coming from the Stranger Things fandom here, well, it was actually his name. As pretty much every metalhead, and especially an Iron Maiden fan, knows that one of the most iconic mascots in heavy metal, the guy who basically represents metal, is an Iron Maiden mascot named Eddie. While the Duffer brothers have never officially confirmed this, well, it's hard to ignore the possibility that Eddie Munson may have been partially named after the Eddie, because everything about him, the aesthetics, his unapologetic love for metal, and especially his outsider status, aligns with Eddie the Head himself.
Studies have linked violent behavior to the game, saying it promotes satanic worship, ritual sacrifice, sodomy, and even murder.
You don't really have to be an Iron Maiden fan or a metalhead to understand that Dustin's graduation speech is a homage to Eddie Munson. I mean, he basically did exactly the same thing Eddie himself wanted to do at his graduation, of which he told Dustin in Season 4.
Next month, I'm gonna look Principal Higgins dead in the eye. I'm gonna flip him the bird. I'm gonna snatch that diploma and I'm gonna run like hell out of here.
And of course, in my opinion, he actually did that in a kick-ass way, and the whole fact that he was wearing a Hellfire Lifts t-shirt was simply adding to the entourage of that thing. But the most important thing here was actually the soundtrack, which was played during that scene, which actually paid homage to Eddie Munson in a much more subtle way than the speech itself. Stranger Things is basically a TV series about nerds, losers, and outcasts who eventually end up saving the world. And the craziest thing is that Eddie Munson is an outcast, at least in the beginning, even among those outcasts. Partially because of his behavior, and partially because of his love and passion for heavy metal. I mean, he literally has to prove the other people that the music he listens to is music.
Madonna, Blondie, Bowie, Beatles, music! We need music!
This is music!
And the thing is that the cassette tape he's holding that scene is the 1983 album Peace of Mind by Iron Maiden, with nobody else but Eddie on the front cover, which by itself already was a clever play on Eddie Munson's obsession with heavy metal. And of course, the song which was chosen as a soundtrack to the graduation speech, being a homage to Eddie Munson, was taken from that album. And more particularly, it is the most famous song from that record, and possibly one of the most famous Iron Maiden songs overall, The Trooper. And moreover, the song itself was of course chosen not only because of its popularity, but because its lyrics, and particularly in its first verse, although based on the Charge of the Light Brigade poem, are basically describing exactly the same thing as Eddie Munson himself did in the Upside Down before he sacrificed his life for his friends and the future of Hawkins.
He'll take my life, but I'll take his tail! But I'll run it through!
And I'm more than sure that, well, since we're talking about the Duffer brothers here, this song and its lyrics were not selected randomly. And it's been specifically placed there as a very nerdy nod to the events of Season 4, specifically for all of the die-hard heavy metal fans.
So when you're waiting for the next attack, you better stand, there's no turning back!
But most importantly, in this scene, Dustin confronts the establishment and challenges the authorities. And the whole fact that he's wearing a Hellfire Lifts t-shirt of course added to the whole fact that it was not met enthusiastically by the Puritans in the crowd. But the craziest thing is that 6 years before the event of that graduation, in 1983, Iron Maiden did exactly the same thing with their Peace of Mind album. Peace of Mind came out right in the middle of the Satanic Panic era, a time when certain media, politicians and pearl-clutching parents thought heavy metal was corrupting the youth and summoning demons every time someone hit play. So what did Iron Maiden do? Well, they had a little bit of fun with that idea. The album's track Still Life opens with a weird, creepy sounding voice that confused a lot of people, which made many of them immediately try to play it backwards, and which was exactly what Iron Maiden wanted them to do, as it was a direct jab at people who believed metal records were full of subliminal satanic messages. And that kind of playfulness, refusal to be tamed, is exactly what Stranger Things basically channeled through both Dustin and Eddie in the series. And thus, the graduation scene does not just reference Iron Maiden, it references the entire era of rebellion. The moment Dustin flips off the principal and cranks the trooper, he's channeling not just Eddie Munson, but the spirit of metalheads everywhere. Of course, still, even to this very day, 40 years after the events of the series, are being told that their music is too dangerous. And honestly, you know what? It might actually be. It is dangerous to conformity, silence, and apathy. And although we may be losers and nerds, well, you know what? Metalheads are still some of the most passionate and devoted people I've ever met in my entire life. Oh, and by the way, guys, in case you didn't notice that, but Wagner basically looks like a younger brother of Iron Maiden's Eddie. So yeah, if you ask me, that scene is actually full of symbolism, and the soundtrack to it has been chosen simply perfectly. And I'm not saying this only as an Iron Maiden fan, but what I'm mostly excited about, and I am talking about this every time it happens, but I actually truly believe that specifically because of such inclusions of heavy metal into the mainstream events, more and more people actually are able to discover the wonderful world of Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Motorhead, and heavy metal overall. As the truth is that popularity of heavy metal has not declined since the 1980s. Not at all. The only thing that changed is that it is being depicted way less than it used to. And every time that changes, we see a new influx of heavy metal fans, specifically from younger generations, joining our amazing club. And this, my friends, is simply great news to all of us, as it is the only way we can ensure that our favorite music can live forever. But anyways, what do you guys personally think about that scene and about heavy metal being represented in mainstream events? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and will prevail. Slava Ukraini!